I'm Michelle Stafford. Welcome to One Parent to Another. And we are sponsored by the Single Parents Alliance of America. And today we have Dr. Don Michael,
yes. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thank you for being in my living room.
I love your living room.
Thank you
It's
very
much. Friendly.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, good. I am so excited to talk to you. First of all, you call yourself a sexologist, right? Which is the knowing of sex, is what that means.
The study of sex,
yes,
research, sexuality. There's a lot. There's psychology, criminology, zoology. There's a lot that goes into sexology, so it's kind of
Does zoology go into sexology?
Oh, very much so.
Wow.
Because we all have animal instincts, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like that genetic kind of,
So we have to determine, or I determine a lot of the time, like, what is behavior? Is it brought on by like biology, or is it brought on by, growing up? There's a lot of factors that get involved.
Right.
And so we are driven by our animal instinct.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yes.
More than people, and I think that there's a whole way of thinking right now in society of like, oh, just discount that. That's not important. But it is. Like,
It's hugely important.
Like my opinion is like sex, that's a big deal in a relationship. And people are like, it doesn't matter. Like I remember when I was dating a lot, people said, just be with your best friend. If you like him and he's really nice, that's way more important than having some chemistry. And I'd be like, oh, all right. But you have to have chemistry, right?
You have to have like a spark, at least like that spark, so that you can kind of flame it into desire, wanting. If there's nothing there, you can't create it.
You can't create it. I agree with you.
You cannot create it.
So therefore, I was right.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't create it. But conversely, right, if it's only that's horrible too.
Well, that's also a problem, because that's the other end of the spectrum, where all you want to do is jump each other's bones.
Right.
Okay, and you're really not even spending time talking to each other, because, your body's taking over. And women, they can smell a guy that they want to mate with. And it's
we can
very
actually smell him.
Yes.
Okay, I want to elaborate on this smelling thing though. So women can smell men. Can men smell women?
It's different. It's more so the women smelling the men as far as mating. Okay, so we talk about pheromones, they're real.
And even like a single mom can do this.
Oh, of course.
Are things different? Because I know being a single gal and single mom, a lot of us are like exhausted, right? And is it still like that? I think that for a lot of single moms, that you're so overwhelmed with taking care of your kids and doing everything mentally, like it's the mental exhaustion and the emotional exhaustion actually, which is more profound for me than the other, right? And is that area that I'm saying that area sometimes gets kind of like
it does
hidden. Yeah.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Because if you're thinking that you're healthy, right? When you're healthy and maybe you're feeling good, then you're going to pick up on that sexual energy more.
Right.
And it can even depend on, especially for women that still are menstruating, also their cycle when they are. Their body is ready to be impregnated, they're going to have more of this, smell this man, or it's going to affect her more.
Right.
But, it still happens. The man doesn't do it as much with the woman. When they're together and maybe it's more of a sexual situation, but the woman does it before the sexual situation happens. And also, if you've ever walked into a room, and I will say this happened to me, and there was a group of men, and you start talking to someone, all of a sudden you can feel you're getting a little bit damp down there.
Whoa, damp.
Wet? Damp?
I love that. Damn, she said it, I didn't.
Yes, I said it.
Awesome. Damp.
And I've talked to my girlfriends, and it's not a myth, okay? It's not just my girlfriends. I've talked to my clients about situations and written about it. So yeah, it is. It's all true.
It is.
Yes, it
Isn't
is.
it wild?
Yeah, women are amazing. Their
We
bodies
are
amazing.
Let's just stop right there. That women are amazing because we are. Wow, that's really interesting. I'll tell you something interesting that happened to me. I want to know your opinion of this. Because I had my children on my own, and also a surrogate carried my children, right?
Oh.
So, but I had the same physical things going on after my kids were born that a woman has, because I hear from my girlfriends who actually gave birth that they weren't like hormonally, it's all whacked out, and they didn't want to have sex with their husband. Like it wasn't really there for them there. And also you're taking care of the kid and you're exhausted. I had like very similar things. Like my sex drive was like dead during that time, like after my kids were born, like for a good year. And like I had this joke after my son was born, like the only penis I'm going to be seeing for the next year is my son's. It didn't get a laugh. It's okay. You know what? You don't hit it out of the park every time.
But no, when you brought that up, it just brought this nightmare situation where I'm changing my son's diaper for the first time, and all of a sudden, I'm like, I've never tasted pee in my life, but I now know what.
Now you know
So
what
that's what was
like.
going through my mind.
Yeah, we could talk about those weird fetishes too.
Oh yeah, but
okay, no, maybe not. Maybe
that
not.
could be another segment.
That's another segment. That's another time. Yes, but what is that?
Okay, getting back to what you were saying.
Because hormones are a big deal. I know people go, they are, especially for us gals.
But you have to understand, the mommy instinct takes over. Okay,
Totally.
The mommy instinct takes over, and you are all mommied out.
Yep.
Okay, and especially when it's new, and you're so sleep deprived, and you're so stressed out because
you don't want to see a penis.
Oh no, it's like this new little person that you can't watch your regular programs at night. You can't, go out with your friends.
Right.
I mean, all of your life that basically you had pre-children stops existing for a while.
Totally.
And so you kind of have to get back into the routine, and it does take a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while,
then you're an animal.
Yeah, then you're like, oh, I haven't had penis in so long.
Because I am kind of an animal.
We don't want to tell our kids that though right now.
My kids will never watch this.
Mine are teenagers, so they don't want to watch it.
Yeah. They'll know, look at, on that, this is what I wanted to say. Like I have this thing, and I was telling some people beforehand, as a single gal, all right? And my age is, I'm not 20. I mean, that may be a shock to you. I'm not 20. I'm not even 25. But I'm so not overwhelmed by my children, but immersed in their lives, okay? A single working mom, in my case, there's no one else. It's all me. I am being the dad, I'm being the mom, I'm making the money, I'm cooking the meals, I'm doing everything, right? It's great too. And never a complaint from me. Kind of. Sort of. But I'm doing it all, and I'm really like, I'm just happy if someone thinks I'm pretty. I really am. I'm just happy. I think you're pretty. I want to take you out. I want to touch your body. That's all I need.
All of a sudden you feel like a woman again.
That's all I need.
Snaps you out of that mommy mode.
Right?
Yeah, that is important.
It's all I need. I don't care if you text afterward. I don't care if you call. Eventually you're going to call again. Maybe not. Doesn't matter. Like, it was a good time. Like, that's all I want. Very, very low maintenance now. Very low maintenance. Do you find that with clients, or you don't call them clients, patients?
I call them clients.
Oh, clients,
yeah.
Okay. Do you find that with women and also the older you get, you don't care about that calling and stuff like that. If you want to talk to somebody, you just call them.
It really depends on the person and the situation. And I went through it myself, being married, then being a single mom, and then actually finding love again, which was, I never thought that would happen. But to that point, it's this mindset. When you go out to date, are you dating because you want to go out and have a good time? or are you dating because you're looking for somebody serious? It's really what you put out there.
Yeah.
And if you find that you're going to go out on a date because you just really want to have a good time, I think women are a lot more successful. And that's kind of what happened to me, because then it just happened.
Yeah.
I just ended up meeting someone.
Yeah, because you just wanted to spend time with somebody.
Yeah, I just wanted to get out. I needed to get away from the kids. My ex-husband was like gone.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I was taking care of the kids by myself.
Right.
So I just wanted to get out and go out on a date and
Yeah.
really just sit and have a conversation. And so I found that really nice.
Yeah.
But not everyone goes into dating that way. And
Do you feel that the people who do go into dating that way are more successful at maybe finding someone, even though that's not their plan? Their plan is to just enjoy the time spent, but they're the ones that end up finding somebody to either marry or be with?
you know, I think that helps, absolutely.
Yeah.
I also think another thing that helps is being open to meeting someone, because sometimes you'll go out and you just, oh, okay, I'm going to go have a good time, but I'm not really open to love. I'm not open to having that long-term relationships with someone, and actually I don't even know what I want.
Yeah.
So kind of getting clear on that is really helpful, because then you can bring in a person that you want instead of just being like, I don't know what I want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you can sniff that out in somebody right away. I think it's very interesting. Like, people don't realize what they put out there, and they have they really have no idea. Like, you'll talk to someone, you're like, that was a rude comment, and they don't think it was rude. You know, things like that. Like, and I think something that helps, and you tell me if you've ever heard of this, but writing a list, but not a weird list like, he should wear white shirts only. You know, not like that kind of
Then
list.
you're not going to meet anyone.
You're never
right,
gonna, right?
right.
But like writing a list of like the qualities you like in somebody around you, in a mate. Do you think that's successful?
Oh, it worked for me.
That's what you did.
I
See, I did
absolutely
that.
wrote a list,
Yeah.
but I did not put down what the person looked like, because I didn't want to be looking for what that person would look like. So I put down all the qualities that I wanted in a partner, and I found somebody by chance, you know, at a meetup comedy club. I went there by myself to get, you know, out, to get away from the kids for a night, and
That's
it just,
amazing.
you know, happened.
Yeah, and so you went out by yourself to just
yeah.
meet people. See, that's cool. That's bold. Not a lot of people do that. That's a bold move.
It's so good to do that.
Yeah, I think so
It really
too.
is, because you put yourself out, and if you go out with a positive attitude, you go just to be friendly. Remember, you're not going there to meet someone. Then you just open yourself up to the possibilities.
Yeah, that's confidence, though. I think that a lot of people, they're kind of petrified to walk into a restaurant alone. That's some confidence.
But you know what? You have to conquer that. That's the thing. It wasn't like all of a sudden I woke up and said, oh, I can just do this.
Right, you got there,
You
right?
have to push yourself, okay? Because you can sit at home. It's really easy to sit at home.
So easy.
Have a glass of wine and just veg out.
Yeah, and I think that we probably have a lot of people who watch who do that. And that's the interesting thing, because you're never going to meet anybody in your living room. Actually, that's a lie, because I do have a friend who met someone in her living room. He came to a party that she had, but see, she had a party.
Yeah, but she was inviting people in.
Exactly,
right?
she was inviting people in. But you're not going to, and I think it's a really easy thing, especially the wine thing, because I have a lot of friends who are just exhausted, and they're like, I'm just going to have a glass of wine, then it turns into 5, and then they're at home.
Passed out.
Waking
up in the morning with a lovely hangover.
Yeah, and then you get into that rut of doing that, and like, life is epic.
Yeah.
Man.
Life is precious.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing that got me through all my stuff is I have faith. I'm not religious, but I always had faith that there's just somebody looking out for me.
Absolutely.
And being grateful.
Yeah.
I would wake up in the morning and push myself like, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful. And that really helped me to knock away that negativity, which it's so easy to let that in.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's also around us a lot. It's around us a lot.
Absolutely.
Okay, tell me, I love the name of your book, and I tried to get it right. It's the greatest name.
Ultimate Intimacy Guide for Passionate People.
First of all, I think we're all passionate, and I think it's suppressed in so many people. So if your book is also about letting that out, I'm so all for that. I'm all for that. So what do you talk about in it?
Well, the book really came about working with couples. So it doesn't necessarily have to be for couples. It can be for somebody who wants to be able to get out into a relationship. But really, if you're coupled with somebody, it talks about how to increase the passion, and it gives you different exercises to do, self-confidence.
Like physical exercises?
Oh, yeah. There's intimacy
Like
exercises.
Kegels?
No, more like I always recommend those for women, though. Having some, you know,
Kegels.
yeah.
I'm all for it, girls.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's great for keeping everything real tight and fresh down there. Yeah.
Tight and fresh.
Tight and fresh.
Damn, I love it. Fresh, because we want, I'm sorry. We want fresh.
Well, the more you use it, really, the more it stays strong.
Yeah, like,
so
why does it have to be bad? Sex is
not.
awesome. It's
Sex
not
is
bad.
awesome.
Has these weird connotations and ooh and that. Like growing up, do you remember the rules?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my mom was pretty cool, but I could have had a great time in my 20s, and I just didn't.
Me too. Oh my God, I can't believe you're saying that. I did not. I lived in Italy. I was modeling in Italy. Can you imagine how much ass I could have gotten? And I had it at my disposal too. These beautiful men. Beautiful, and I was like, no, I have to, it's not right, it's not right. You know, it's like, because it was like, oh, I can't, it's not right, I'm a whore.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
All those things that go in your head. Oh my God, and if they saw that, you know, my body and it's not perfect.
And then they'll never marry me. I mean,
yes,
if I sleep with them too soon. Now there's truth to it, only, this is my opinion, but there's truth to it because it's, when you get into the hot and heavy sex, it's almost like it can be so emotional, right? That it's, you haven't really gotten to know somebody.
That's the whole thing. You haven't gotten to know someone.
Yeah, and that's the only reason I'm like, you know what? You want to hold off on that a bit to really get to know someone.
If you like the person.
Yeah, if you like the person, then it's all good, but you kind of have to trust yourself in that. Sometimes you can get into, oh, this guy's great, and he really isn't great, but the sex is great. And I don't know how to incorporate that into being a single mom, because that's just a woman thing, right?
But also, too, when you do have kids, I will say there is a certain amount of, okay, I'm going to go out and have a good time, but there's the respect of your body. And you always want to be in control of that, and you always want to be okay with what you're doing. I'm not talking about the societal, oh, you shouldn't do that. I'm talking about your
respect,
your interpersonal respect, and even going forward and teaching girls by example, and boys too. You have to respect your body. And the one thing that I will say is pleasure. If you are not having pleasure, then why are you doing something?
Why are you there?
Why?
Why, exactly.
And it's okay to talk about that.
It is okay to talk about that. And also, but that kind of bleeds into the rest of the relationship too. I mean, I think that sometimes the sex mirrors what's happening within the relationship, you know? But if it's not a good time, why do it?
Why do it?
Right?
And why do something because you think you're pleasing the other person when you're actually not getting pleasure from it?
Right.
And that would go into like faking orgasms.
Yeah,
and that could be a whole other show.
Yeah, I don't understand why somebody would do that.
Because you're just teaching the person you're with how not to give you an orgasm.
Yeah, how not. But like I'm wondering if women are doing that.
They do.
Really?
Of course, they still do it.
It's a very subservient kind of.
Not necessarily.
It's not? Okay.
No, it's not necessarily. It's like, I actually didn't have an orgasm until later in my 20s. I just didn't know how to have one.
Yeah.
And so, until I really figured out how to masturbate and have an orgasm,
right.
I didn't know how to have one. So it's easier to fake it than just think that there's something wrong with you.
Oh, because you started getting in your head like I should be
doing it.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Can we talk about orgasms more? Are we allowed to? Because listen, us single parents, we need to have them.
Absolutely.
Like all the time.
Frequently. Masturbation
Seriously.
is...
And I think, yes. And I think that you get like so confused. Like I'm a mom. Like I know this happened to me and it's had to have happened to other women. Like I'm a mom. I'm taking care of my kids. It's hard to separate. Like somebody asked me, do you feel odd having your kids sleep in the same bed that you have sex in? And I'm like, no.
They're not in the bed when you're having sex,
I'm
okay?
like, no. I mean, like,
when you are giving yourself pleasure, when you're having orgasms, it's actually good for your body.
Yes.
Okay, so
yes,
it is
good
part
for your body.
of your overall health. And we forget about sexual health. And part of keeping your hormones regulated, part of keeping your PC muscle strong, instead of having to use the Kegel balls, masturbate.
Are there Kegel balls?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
we don't have to.
I didn't know about Kegel balls.
There's all kinds of different.
I gotta start.
But when you're
looking into
having orgasms, your body's contracting, okay? You're contracting and your muscle is contracting. So it's actually healthy and you shouldn't feel guilty about taking care of yourself. Would you feel bad about eating properly or exercising?
Exactly. I think it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
You gotta be enjoying yourself, not just taking care of the kids. You gotta be enjoying yourself. And it's an interesting thing. I had this thing as a single parent, that like I can get into situations and relationships, and when it goes bad and I feel like I'm going down a bad road, I always go, if my daughter was in this, if my daughter was doing this, how would I feel? You know, like what would I tell my daughter, right? And it's usually I tell my daughter to get out, you know, if I'm going down a funky road in a relationship, right?
And not respecting your
myself. Yeah, not respecting myself, not respecting my gut. Exactly. I would tell my daughter to get out. And I would want my daughter to have a healthy sex life when she's ready for it.
Right.
At 30.
But you know what? It's okay for parents to talk about sex with their kids in an age-appropriate way.
Totally.
To teach them, you know, what you call it.
Chill about it.
You know, that's a penis, that's a vulva,
Yeah.
and those are breasts, those are testicles. Let's use like real names so that they're not walking around going, oh, that's a this, or this. No.
Well, we called it a vagina, right? Because that's the name of it, right? And penis, and she'd go to school and then she'd come back with my privates, which I hate. I'm just going to go on record to say I hate the word
I don't like that
privates.
either.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Because it means like, of course we don't want to show it around, but it just makes it, ooh, privates. And I grew up Catholic, and so there's a lot of
negative
not
connotation.
hitting on this religion. I'm still Catholic, but she came back with the privates, and I'm like, no, it's a vagina. And then I think
or
that
a
she went
vulva.
to school. Or and it's a vulva.
Of a vulva, because people often say vagina, which is just the opening.
Yeah,
we forget about the clitoris. We forget about the vaginal lips, the urethra.
I'm gonna teach her all of those. She's gonna go to school with that. These are the lips. This is a vulva. This is a clitoris.
Not a Volvo. A vulva.
Not a car.
Not a car.
Not a car. A vulva.
That's the whole area. Damn. Yeah. And all that area is pleasurable, and it's not just the vagina, the opening, but it's not you. They're teaching it in the health classes. My daughter comes home and we discuss, and I'm like, wait, he didn't call it a vulva, he called it a vagina? No, you have to raise your hand and tell him.
That's great.
And she counsels all of her friends too, you know, because she comes to me for things and we talk about it openly.
Yeah.
And so her friends will come to her.
There's something I want to ask you about, because I'm sure you have a lot of single gals, right? A lot of single parents.
Yes.
Yeah. And I want to ask you, what is the main thing that they come to you for? What is the main problem that they're trying to fix?
Well, I see both men and women. So I have majority men that come to me for erectile dysfunction, and they would have anxiety around having sex. And that's something that I like to teach women, is that they think that if a man's penis gets flaccid, or they're in the middle of having a sexual experience and he's not erect, that, oh, he's not attracted to her. Well, no, it just means he's nervous and the blood left his penis. So I deal with a lot of men with erectile dysfunction.
Wow.
A lot. And then I deal with women who are not able to have orgasms, or they have painful sex, or they're not able to enjoy the sex, or they're afraid to have it, or something's happened. I mean, there's so many issues that single people come to me with.
Wow.
And it prevents them from getting into relationships.
Yeah, because who wants to experience pain? And
Pain
who wants
or
to be
embarrassment.
nervous? Yeah.
I mean, the humiliation and the embarrassment keeps a lot of people not actually interacting with each other.
Do you find that the woman would be open with her mate or someone they're dating about that, or it's the last thing that they would talk about?
A lot of times they don't bring it up.
Yeah, they don't.
And so just giving them the tools to talk about it, to really open the door, then they do.
Yeah.
You know, give them a space, give them a way to say it, to approach it, and it's like, it's okay.
Right.
It's actually healthy that you do this.
Right.
Because if you don't, you're not doing anybody a service. It's a disservice.
Right.
So it's
Exactly.
very, very important to communicate and talk about issues, especially when you're in a relationship. But coming to someone like me, I go over sex education, and I have people that say, oh, well, I've been watching porn. That's been like my sex education. And I'll say to a guy, well, she really doesn't want you to shove your penis down her throat.
Yeah, that we really don't want that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to reiterate that.
right.
I don't want that.
And so it's just going over this line between, okay, they saw it in porn.
They think, and then the girl's like, ooh,
Right.
in the porn, and then, oh, I have a whole deal on
But
this.
but the other thing is the girls don't know. They're like, I should be doing this.
I should be doing that.
What's wrong with me?
Yeah,
okay, no. I mean, if you want to do it, fine. I'm not judging anyone. But, you know, if you want to do it,
But
that's
don't
great.
pretend.
But don't think that that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
I've had people come in and say, you know, I've been having sex with my wife, and I've never touched her clitoris because I thought, you know, I learned a lot of stuff from just watching porn, and I didn't know that maybe she would actually like that because I just see them just going in, you know. There's like some deeper stuff too, that there is really no information out there, very little information out there that kind of gives you the in-between, like what is reality, what is healthy, and so I have my own YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and I actually go over all these crazy topics.
I may be asking for a friend.
Okay.
But what would you tell a single mom who wants to get out there, right, and is afraid, and who's been just immersed in her kid's life, but knows that she has to get out there, and feels guilty, maybe, or like, what would you tell her to do first thing?
Okay, so we all have a routine, okay? So it's about taking a little bit out of your routine for yourself. It's called mommy private time. And mommy's allowed to do it ever she wants in this time and not feel guilty about it. And if that's venturing out, going on a date, then that's her time to do that, and it's healthy. There's nothing wrong with it. As long as you take that time, you make sure your kids are okay, you know, you can go out and have that time. And one of the other things is making yourself feel beautiful, okay, about yourself. I happen to like lingerie, not so much for the guy, but for the woman, because there's something sexy about just having a nice pair of panties and a bra that kind of makes you feel good. It may accent some parts and hide other parts. Even if they never see it, you're feeling sexy underneath, and then you go out with that energy. And that's kind of a gift to yourself.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I tell my girlfriends that. And I know I'm going to add this too. I know that single moms, sometimes you go into their bedroom and it's filled with kid. It's filled with kid. I think one great step is to go into your bedroom, get everything kid out of there. Everything kid, because that's happened with me too. And I had one girlfriend come in. I said, I've got to change stuff. Come in and sex up my bedroom.
Yep.
Just come sex it up. And she put candles in. And like, I met somebody 2 weeks later.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that. Because when the guy comes in too and he sees all the kids, it's like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally. And it's a really, oh my gosh, it's such an easy thing to do as a single parent.
And candles, I love candles. And the massage candles are even better.
So good. So good. And
Because-
line them for yourself. Just do, like,
do
I'm
it.
like, line them for yourself. It doesn't matter, and don't give up. You know, we were talking about this earlier. Yeah, I think it's tough to date. It's tough to date in LA. And it's tough to date as a single mom. It's all tough. And you can go out there on a couple dates and they're horrible. Like I've been on a million horrible dates, and you gotta keep on going. You cannot stop, you know, because you may have just hit the good one and you stopped right before it, right?
And go out again to have a good time.
Yeah, and go out and have
A good time.
Yeah, and
because there's nothing more depressing going out and going, okay, this might be the one, and then
right. Right, you go,
because you know what, 99.9% it's not, right?
Yes, of course.
Because you're not going to meet that, you know, that person every time,
Right,
so. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. You're amazing.
Oh, this was a great show. I had such a fun time being here in your home.
Thank you.
And it's so nice doing it in your living room.
Yeah,
And it's been fun. A lot of fun.
My abode.
Your abode, yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in, One Parent to Another, sponsored by the Single Parent Alliance of America, and we support you.